and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to explain to you a little bit about cells, the different types of living cells that we find on Earth. So it's just me, my pen and my whiteboard explaining to you nice and clearly with some drawings some of the things that you need to know for most post-16 biology courses. Please feel free to ask any questions or ask for any videos of any other topics that you'd like. So today we're just going to have a look at some of the features of eukaryotic cells. So all living things contain cells. They're either made up of lots of them in the case of multicellular organisms, or they can even exist as single cells in the case of unicellular organisms. But either way, they have a cell or cells. All living things are either eukaryotic or prokaryotic. They sound like long, complicated words, but we can break them down. So the word eukaryotic, the U part of this refers to true. And the word karyon or karyotic refers to a nucleus. So eukaryotic cells have a true nucleus. So eukaryotic cells include plants, animals, fungi, and one that's not as commonly known, but the Protoctista, or sometimes referred to simply as protists. So all of these living kingdoms or living organisms are composed of eukaryotic cells. They have a true nucleus. So we're going to focus mainly on the animals and the plants. And in this video, I'm going to look at the animal cells. In a later video, we'll focus on the plant cells. So we'll look at animal cells today. So I'll draw a fairly straightforward animal cell here, giving it an unusual shape there, because one of the things you'll notice about animal cells is that they have an irregular shape compared to, let's say, plant cells. They are irregular in shape, whereas plant cells are regular. So around the outside of the cell, we find the cell membrane. So this is a barrier between the outside of the cell and the inside of the cell, and it controls what enters and exits. And we'll look at that in another video a little bit in closer detail. Inside the cell, taking up a fairly large part of it, you'll find one quite circular organelle called the nucleus. And this contains DNA. DNA is the code for proteins, and that's tightly packed into the nucleus. There is also in the nucleus another organelle called the Nucleolus. Now I'm saying the word organelle and I realised I haven't explained that. So an organelle is a structure that carries out a particular function inside the cell. And as I say, there'll be a video on each of these. Also inside the cell, you'll find these organelles smaller than the nucleus. And these are the mitochondria. And that's a plural word for lots of. So I've only drawn one here. So this is a mitochondrion. That's the singular. Mitochondria, plural, mitochondrion, singular. So you'll find those inside the cell. Attached to the nuclear envelope or membrane, that's the barrier between the nucleus and the cytoplasm, you will find this membranous, almost like a maze of tunnels, of channels, a membrane system. So it extends from the nuclear membrane, it's continuous with it, and that is the endoplasmic reticulum. And this can have dots on its surface, which are ribosomes, and in that case the endoplasmic reticulum is the rough ER, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or it can be smooth, in which case it's the smooth endoplasmic reticulum if it's without ribosomes. Also in the membrane, in the cell, you will find this stack of membrane discs. Then each one is not joined on to the next, so it's unlike the endoplasmic reticulum, which is continuous. It looks like a stack of pancakes. It's a stack of membrane discs, and this is called the Golgi body, sometimes called the Golgi apparatus, the Golgi body. That should be an I there. Let's make that an I so that we don't get confused. And I forgot to mention, of course, the main component of the cell that fills up most of the inside space here in the cell. This is all of this. I'm just going to colour it in so you can see where it extends all the way around here. It's a jelly-like substance where chemical reactions take place, where organelles are suspended. All of this here. This is the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm. Of the cell. Other organelles that you're likely to come across. So we have dotted in the cytoplasm, if they're not on the endoplasmic reticulum, dotted in the cytoplasm, you will find ribosomes. Now these are unlike all of the organelles that I've mentioned up here because they don't have a membrane around them. So the cell membrane, mitochondria, Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, nucleolus, nucleus, they are either a membrane, in the case of the cell membrane, or they have a membrane around them. They're membrane-bound organelles. The ribosomes are non-membrane-bound organelles. Budding off of the Golgi body or the endoplasmic reticulum, larger than ribosomes, which are fairly small compared to the other organelles, you can find vesicles. If they contain enzymes inside them, then they are lysosomes. Vesicles or lysosomes there. So those are most of the organelles that you're going to come across when you look at eukaryotic cells. One of the things to notice about them is that there's no wall around the outside of the cell, just the membrane. That is the barrier between the two, and they're irregular in shape. If you'd like to come back and see a video on the structure of plant cells, please look at my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope that you found the video helpful. See you later.